Welcome to episode 4 of the Lyrical Breakdown. My name is Sio. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching the first 3 episodes so far. They've gotten a lot of love. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for the following. Yes. Okay, so in today's episode of the Lyrical Breakdown, I'm going to be talking about the second half of Alchemy, which happens to be a poem I wrote in the deepest, darkest time. Maybe not the deepest, darkest time. That's a bit of a hyperbole. But it was rough. So guys, as I see my Govi. Yes, I like to leave the spoon in my cup, which apparently is an old lady thing, and I don't care. But everybody kind of looks at me weird when I do this, because that's how I like to hold my coffee. There's been a lot that's happened this week. So we had the first snowfall in over 10 years in Johannesburg. And we had no water. And we have no power. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. I give thanks for the hot water I showered with this morning. It was glorious because having to wash the way I'd been washing prior to the water's return has just been sad. It has not been nice. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, universe, for the return of the water. Also, just like, for those of you who aren't South African, what would you rather have? Actually, for those of you who are South African, everybody who's watching this, would you rather have no electricity or have no water? I personally would choose to have no electricity because having no water sucks. Big time. I wanted to use another phrase, but I don't think I can. Oh, did I smudge? Give me a second. Phew! Safe. Okay, that's enough of me ranting. So this is the backstory of Alchemy, part 2. So when I go through darkness and I go through pain, I'm not the kind of person that cries. I did say this. So what I do more often than not is write a lot. It's how I process. And I wrote a heap of poems throughout the discovery of me being aside, because this is the saga of the side. The me being made aside by some English dude. I poured all of my rage, my anger, my betrayal onto the page, which is a thing I do. Because I never used to cry. I kind of still don't. It takes a lot for me to cry again. I've gone back to that sort of place, which isn't, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing. I'm not going to label it. It is what it is. And it's fine. I used to say I cry on white pages with black ink. So I'd pour my feelings onto the page and into my right hand. So while processing and just getting the feelings out, aside from crying, because I was doing that ad nauseum, quite voluminously, might I add. I wrote these poems. In these poems, I post. I have a poetry page specifically, both on my TikTok as well as my Instagram, called The Twilight Child. That's sort of my poetry alias, or nom de plume, if you will, that thing. Where I just share my poems. They're actually the prettiest pages I have. My main page, my artist page, is just a mess. It's just it's whatever. I try to make that thing aesthetic once, and it's just like it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because it just doesn't. I have the Twilight Child page to compensate for the complete disaster of a feed you will find on the CO page. More than anything else, I wrote it in the state of rage because I'm not, and it's weird because this is exactly what I'm doing here. because it's the art, and that's the place where I'm most open. So the people who get the art know me incredibly intimately, which is quite uncomfortable if I think about it, because on one-on-one I'm just like no, leave me alone, go, oh, stay there now. I'm that person. So I was furious with myself for letting him in. I was mad as all hell, all of the rage. Yabana helleth no fury like a woman's god, as that woman. And I was so mad at myself for trusting him. I was just like, how could you? Because I've never felt safe. I've never felt protected. I've never had those figures in my life. I've had providers, but I've not had a provider of protection and safety and emotional well-being. So I had to figure that out on my own, like a lot of us do, because we have brown parents who've had even more horrendous upbringings than we whinge about. Because yes, I am low-key whinging. I'll take it. But that's my neighbor. The rugby's on. I was furious at myself for allowing myself to be hurt. And that's what I penned. So this is the song. All right, it's gonna start a bit abruptly because we're starting the song where we ended it last, because I had to end it abruptly, so I need to also start it abruptly. So my apologies for the abruptness. This is Alchemy, part 2, the poem version, produced by Dave Martian, out on Stay True Beats, and I am the artist and the writer of this here poem. And it goes like this. It's magical, how I got you wrapped up around my finger, little boy. I said, I love you too. He said, I love you. I said, I'm scared too. He said, show me. I said, I'm hurting. And this flirting is skirting too close to the place where my longing is flailing. Cause the last time I spoke this, he left me reeling, running from the feeling that the broken and the bleeding needed healing, but not from you. I'm not asking you to save me. I'm asking you to hold me, and I'm letting you see me without my armor. When I've shed off my fame and the expectations of my name, where I'm vulnerable and lame and I need you. I love you, he said. I can't hear it in my head, because I love you doesn't leave me. I've shown you my wounds and all the ways I've been used, and you bruised me when you told me that we're through. I love you, felt safe. I could take off my public face, because I loved you, promised to love me right through. But if I love you is scared, and I love you is not prepared, don't speak words to me you can't stick to. He said, I love you. I said, I love you too. He said, I love you. I said, I'm scared too. He said, show me. But you're not here to speak to. So that was the poem. And this right here that we're going into right now is the lyrical breakdown of part 2 of Alchemy. All right, because I need to read these lines because I don't know them as well as I know the songs, which is weird. But it kind of makes sense because I don't perform poetry as much as I sing. And there's something about rhythm and melody that makes things stick faster than just lines. We all learned the alphabet because of the song. Maybe not all of us, but in general we learn quicker when there's a melody behind something. Anyway, another thought for another day. The poem's original name is A Question of Trust, and I wrote this on the 11th of May 2019. Shoo! Yeah, that was before Subtext dropped and just after I came back. No, was it? It was actually before I went on the silent retreat and I just felt haggard. That's another thing I was doing during that time. So this is how it goes. He said, I love you. I said, I love you too. He said, I love you. I said, I'm scared too. So I generally, like I said, am not the kind of person who will open myself up to people easily. And it takes a while for me to trust people, and it makes me sort of uncomfortable when people say, I love you. I'm like, what do you want? And I've gone back to that. I'd let that go a little bit. And I thought, let me trust this love thing. Look now. Look now. No, leave me. And I wrote, he said, show me. I said, I'm hurting. And this flirting is skirting too close to the place where my longing is flailing. Because the last time I spoke this, he left me reeling. So we had broken up before, him and I. And we had just sort of made up again at the beginning of the year. And I was trying to understand his resistance, the right word, or his resistance to seeing me. And me coming through to see him when I could and I had the means to. And he kept sort of blowing that off. And I was just like, something's off. But then again, I was, and then I wasn't, and I am again, the kind of person who, if you cross me once, and that's brutal of me, because I also expect the same to happen in return, because that's sort of one of the laws of the universe. I don't know which one it is, but I treat people like I want to be treated. So golden rule applies. So if I give you a chance into my person, into my emotional self and my psychological self, my heart and my mind and my soul and my body even, you cross me once, I'm never giving you a chance again. We're done. I'm that person. And I thought, no, let me give this person another chance. Woo! He fortified. You know what is a fortification? He fortified it in the hardest substance on earth, which I think is a diamond. He fortified that principle in me so hard. Like, if you cross me once, I'm done. Peace, I'm gone. Vanishing cream. Vanished. You see, Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. I'm gone. I'm not doing it again. But I did give him a second chance, and I was just like, you see, when you don't listen to yourself, and you don't listen to your intuition and your gut and your instinct, you get this rubbish. Running from the feeling that the broken and the bleeding needed healing, but not from you. I'm not asking you to save me. I'm asking you to hold me, and I'm letting you see me without my armor. So everybody sort of got faces. I think I'd come across this sort of concept in high school where I was just like, there's your school face, there's your house face, there's your face with friends, there's your face or your mask that you wear with teachers, there's the one that you wear with your peers, your family, your parents, depending on what kind of circumstances or self you need to present at any given space, time, and moment. And your true self is the self which I felt at the time. I don't know now, but like at the time I believed your true self is the self you face at night when you switch off the light. Because I still do find night more truthful than day. I don't know that anymore because I work in a nightlife sort of entertainment field, and I can see that there's people who definitely show up in their work face for work, and there's those who aren't. So it's not as black and white as it used to be when I was a teen. Being a teenager is nice, guys. Like your perspectives are very clear. They're a lot clearer. The older you get and the more you know, the less you actually know. The more you realize you don't know anything. Well, that's the space I'm in. There's also sort of a perception on his end that I was looking to be saved. And maybe there's something that I did to give him that idea or impose that on him, consciously or subconsciously. I don't know what I did. I probably must have, in some way, made it look like I wanted to be saved from something. But when I thought back at it, I was just like, nobody can save you. There's no, and I believe that thoroughly. You are your own savior. There is no knight in shining armor coming to save nobody. Nobody's Jesus. Nobody's Superman. Nobody is. So you need to be that for yourself. Like Mariah Carey said it best. And then a hero comes along with a strength to carry on, and it's always her. You cast your fears aside. I'm not gonna quote her. Let's not do that. But like, she had it right back then. When she said those words or wrote those words, she had it right. Nobody's coming to save you. So I don't expect to be saved because I have no idea if I have the capacity to save anyone. I don't know what that's going to entail. What does saving you look like? What does emotionally saving you and then making myself your anchor, if that's what you need, or grounding you or liberating you mean? That's a lot to take on. That's a hell of a lot to put on somebody, and that's why I don't want to be that person. And I need to fix myself. So there's a lot in me, and it made me angry for a very long time. I'm not as mad English. I'm not as mad at it as I once was, because there's a lot of brokenness in me, and I think a lot of people can relate. We're broken, man. A lot of us are not all right. Most of us, if not all of us, aren't. And a lot of people expect to be fixed. And I was mad as hell that I'm just like, yeah, I'm broken. And I didn't break myself, but I have to fix myself because I have to live with me. And that made me mad. So I also take on the responsibility of the things that have been perpetrated against me. And it's my job to fix. It's nobody else's job. So I don't want to bleed on anyone. So at least I try not to. I'm sure I have. Pretty sure I have. But I'm trying not to. Hopefully this does not repeat itself. I'm not asking you to save me. I'm asking you to hold me, and I'm letting you see me without my armor. When I've shed off my fame and the expectations of my name, where I'm vulnerable and lame and I need you. So that speaks to me, sort of, again, going back to the image of taking your mask off, or your many masks off, and letting yourself be completely vulnerable and open with the person you love and who claims to love you, right? And feeling safe enough to be that person, but realizing that was the biggest mistake. That was the downfall of this entire exchange, because that then led, maybe not even, but there was a mistake in that you did that and you still got betrayed anyway. So here you are, or at least I was castigating myself, flaying myself. If I could have gotten a whoop, haha, my back would have been shredded. But emotionally doing that, because yeah, I did let somebody in and let them see all of my broken pieces, all of the rotten, ugly, dark, brittle, jagged, hideous things about me, and the scared places, and the scared things, and the scared me. And they still do this? I was like, guys, I love you, he said. I can't hear it in my head because I love you doesn't leave you. I've got intense abandonment issues. I have a song out, for those who know, called Abandonment Issues, and it speaks to that. So the EP essentially, with the incredible Atmos Black, speaks to my abandonment issues, because Fault also speaks to how I tackle my abandonment, I suppose. It's all in the art, guys. all of it is there. When I die and people look through the stuff, they're gonna say she was a sad, sick puppy. Shame. I don't know. I don't buy, and this is me. I don't know everybody else. I'm not speaking for everybody else because it's my lyrical breakdown. But it doesn't make sense to speak of love and sturdiness. Well, to me, love, and I don't even know. But like, I think at the time, because I don't know anymore. I don't know if I've ever been loved or known love outside of my creative self and the appreciation I get for my creativity, for my art, for exposing myself as much as I do. Mm. Um, and from the people who believe in me. But like, it always seemed like in my head, and maybe this is a delusional Hollywood imposition and program running in my head about what love is like, but it should be stable. I think like it should be sturdy. It even if it's rocky, um, and things happen, and this isn't just in a romantic context. Like it shouldn't be seasonal. It shouldn't be perennial. And there's a lot of sort of people who speak about choosing to love, right? Choosing people and choosing to stay with them because the soft bubbliness, the butterfly coming out of the cocoonness, the freedom and the springtime of love passes, and you go through all seasons, sometimes in a day, sometimes in an hour of love with somebody you love. And this is mom, dad, sisters, brothers, cousins, friends, workers, and lovers. You go through all of these shades of love throughout the day, throughout your life. And it's just like, I got what I want from you. Now you can go. That's how that felt. So I was just like, shouldn't it be more stable? Shouldn't it be more grounded? Shouldn't it be more sturdy? And it wasn't. It was literally a lily on a pond. A pond lily. It has no roots grounding it. It's just drifting in this space and going nowhere. So that speaks to those lines. But if I love you is scared, and I love you is not prepared, don't speak words to me you can't stick to. He said, I love you. I said, I love you too. He said, I love you. I said, I'm scared to. He said, show me, but you're not here to speak to. So that speaks to like all of these questions, or that speaks to all of these declarations of love. And again, my perception of it, my idea of it, because again, I don't think I've ever really known it. But the stability of it, the protection it's supposed to provide, in my mind, after you having had taken the risk, because there's the school of thought that risk, and it does work in a lot of contexts, but great risks often lead to great rewards. You can absolutely lose everything, but there's a lot of reward given to risk. Like if you're brave enough to risk most of your money on stuff, you get the rewards back. As with a lot of things in life, you have faith in it. And I had faith until I didn't. And there was that doubt that crept into me after sort of the petering off of round one of that relationship and how whack that ended randomly. And then how that built back into let's try again. But all of the doubts from that first encounter made me go, you know, and that sort of crept in and spoke to how I was just like, are you sure? You say you love me. Are you sure? Show me. That's what I wanted. I wanted like proof of it. Look now. Look now. And then he'd gone. He went. But yeah, that was essentially the lyrical breakdown of A Question of Trust, aka part 2 of Alchemy, produced by the incomparable Dave Martian. Thank you very much, everybody who's a buddy, for tuning into the Lyrical Breakdown. Thank you for hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you for following. Thank you for engaging with the content and giving the great suggestions of what you would like me to talk about after the lyrical breakdown of the album Twin Tapestries is done. My name is Sia. Have a wonderful week. Keep warm if you're in the southern hemisphere and in South Africa right now. Enjoy summer if you're in the northern hemisphere and it's like sunny if you're that person. I actually do love winter, so I'm in my element. However, it's brutal this year, man. Peace.